好。So this is our NLF-200A Plus CPAP system, which we also call it the infant or neonatal ventilator because it can be used for the children under 30 kg, and there is no any bottom limit. So as we can see the configuration, first it has the main engine, which we also call it the ventilator. We will do all the operations on the screen and with the buttons, also each the touch screen. And then the below side here will be the humidifier, and then the below side will be the air compressor, and the bottom side will be the trolley. And the trolley has 4 wheels, which the front 2 wheels has the brake, can be very reliable and make the machine very steady and can be moved. And then left side here is the hanger. As you can see on the hanger, there are totally 3 positions. 1, 2, 3. So any of the positions, when we rotate this button, and we can get it very easy. Like this. And then we can move it. It's usually used when the patient ward or the rooms has not enough space, so we can adjust it to make sure it's suitable for the room. And also this hanger, you can put it on the left side, also you can put it on the right side. It can be chosen by you. Then next step, we turn on the machine and we see the software and functions of the machine. Once we open the machine, you can see there will first enter into the self-checking. It makes sure that the machine has no any problem before the use for the patient, and also it can keep the safety for the patient. So after the self-checking, if there is any alarms or any problem for the machine, they will be shown on the upside of the screen. So like now we haven't connected with the AC power, so it will show in the battery activity. And here, because we said this is the high-end model for our CPAP system, so we have the single tube and double tube. The single tube is using when we are using the BiPAP function, and double tube is using when we are using the CPAP function. So this machine has the BiPAP ventilation mode. So also for the single tube, that means we connect like this. There's no need to connect with the exhalation port. We only make a pipeline to connect with the inspiration port, and then with the humidifier, it can be used, and you can get the BiPAP function. And if you want to use the double tube, which means we want to use the CPAP system, then it will be connecting like this. That means the inspiration port and the expiration port we will both connected, and then with the humidifier. So any way you can choose. This is a standard configuration for our high-end CPAP system. For example, now we choose the single tube, and we touch the screen, and then we can first make the preset for the ventilation mode and the parameters. As you can see, under the BiPAP function, we have the NIPPV, NCPAP, and the HFNC. So there are several kinds of the ventilation mode. The HFNC means the high flow that are being used when the neonatal or the infant patient in some emergency situation, and we will use the high flow to make sure the in-life gas get into the baby's body. And then here is the NCPAP, and here then it will be the NIPPV. And under the NIPPV, you can see here, as we mentioned, it's the BiPAP function. So of course we can both adjusting for the IPAP and the EPAP. The IPAP means the inspiration port, and the EPAP means the expiration port. So the BiPAP means that we can separately adjusting for the inspiration pressure and also the expiration pressure. So that's why we call it the BiPAP. After all the parameters has been set, we move to confirm and press the button, or we can also press on the screen. So this will be the main interface. So under the main interface, you can see there are totally 4 parts. On the above side here, as I have mentioned, here we'll be showing the alarm functions, and also here we have a small signal. Once we press it, and then the machine will be silent for 2 minutes. And here is the ventilation mode we are choosing now. Here this is the battery status shown. And left side here is for the flow meter. So this machine we are using the digital flow meter, which we also call it the electronic flow meter. So there everything the flow will be shown on the screen, but not with the rotate function. So here the first flow will be the air, and second will be the oxygen, and then third one will be the mixed. That means if the air is 3 and oxygen is 5, then the mix will be 8. So it's very accurate for doctors to check the parameters. And also here we are not using the pressure gauge anymore, but we are using the digital shown on the screen. So here we can check for the inlet pressure, for the air gas source and the oxygen gas source. Then the middle side here is the waveform, and usually we are showing for the pressure time because this is the most important waveform for doctors to see the patient situation. So we'll keep it. And then here we have some parameters to be shown, like the oxygen concentration and inspiration pressure, expiration pressure, frequency, and the inspiration time. And then here is some buttons. These buttons just similar like this, but we can see there are several ones. For the first one here, when we choose it, then we can set for the ventilation mode and the parameters again. That means if we use, after using for one patient, we change to another one, or after several days we are using for a new patient, we can do it again. And then the second one is the alarm setting. For the alarm setting, there are two columns. For the first column, you can see there's the upper limit and the lower limit for the oxygen concentration and the pressure limit. So because we know in different countries, the baby status also is different. So sometimes maybe in the European countries or America or maybe Africa, the baby body will be much more bigger than in Asia. So sometimes the upper limit and lower limit, we need to adjust it. And then we check for the second column is the info. That means all the history alarm will be shown here. That means after maybe half a year or maybe 1 year, we want to do some maintenance for the machine, and the engineer can check this here, check all the items here to see what has happened to the machine before and what we need to do for the maintenance to the machine. And if you think all the problems has been solved, then we can press reset to clear out all the informations. For the third one is the system setting. So under the system setting here, because we are using the electronic flow meter, so here we only need to adjusting the air and 100% oxygen directly. So for the air, we just press it, and then after it's staying complete, it's finished. For the pure oxygen, it's the same. Only you need to remember is that when we are doing the oxygen calibration, then you only ensure the oxygen coming, no any air coming. For the set here is for the language checking, because for this machine in different countries we have different languages to be suitable for the patient to use. So you can choose here, and also here we also have the touch screen calibration. So that means for this machine, even after many years, you think all the parameters or the calibration is not very accurate, but we can do all the calibrations on the screen by the doctor's hand or by the patient or even by the nurse. Very easy. No need for sending the engineer to the hospital. And here we have the new bladder function. Because we know for the baby, usually sometimes they have some illness, they needed some medicine to be combined with the gas together to be breathed in and for cure some illness. So here we have new bladder, and it's the auto function. Once we press it and we change it to on, then here we will have a signal. That means the new bladder function is starting. And then the second column here, this is the menu. And for the menu here is for a setting. That means if we set for 15 seconds, then when we press this button, the menu function, then it will be as per the 15 seconds parameters. And the menu function is used for some emergency situation or in some time if the baby need a high flow. The last one will be the rapid oxygen supply, but this one has an integrated one. We know usually on the machine we need to press a button for the oxygen rapid supply one time by one time, but for this one it's automatically. That means you can see here we can set. If we set for 120 seconds, that means once we starting the oxygen rapid supply, then it will come for 2 minutes. And if we set it like for 80, then it will be 80 seconds very automatically. And then the next one will be the lock. This lock means once we press it, and then the first 3 settings we cannot use it. That means that sometimes the doctors get out of the patient ward, and we let for the patient only one people in the room, and we need to prevent for some wrong operation. So then we can lock this. Once we locked, and the patient cannot do any changes. And here is also the menu function. It's same like this button. We have 2 buttons to be choose. That is because even sometimes if the screen has some problem, but we need to change it immediately, then we can still use the cable knob. And also here is for the oxygen rapid supply. Then let's see downstairs for the port. So here we have totally 4 ports. The first one is for the expiration port, And here, the middle side, we have a pressure tube. And this pressure tube, you must remember to connect it, because this tube is for monitoring for the patient and the pressure. So you can see the other side is connecting at the nasal tube. So we can test very accurate from the baby's end. And the third one here is the nebulizer port. Once we want to use the nebulizer function, then we connect the nebulizer pipeline and then connecting with our main pipeline, so it can be used. And the last one is the inspiration port. Then I see the humidifier. For the humidifier, for now, actually we have totally 3 types. And as you can see, the first one is like this. The first one is like this. So this one you can see there's no any digital shown, but here we will have a thermometer to be checking for the temperature. So this is the basic one. And this is the second one. So for this second one, you can see on the main part here, we have the digital screen to show the temperatures. So it's much more advanced. And then the high-end one is this one. This one is just similar like the MR850 from the Fisher & Paykel. It has the same function. It has the servo control, and also the temperature can be automatically set. And also it has the inside, you can see the pipeline. Inside of the pipeline, we have the red line, and this is the heating wire. So this is the high-end one of the humidifier. Then the below side is the air compressor. For the air compressor, for now, actually our one is the best in the whole China, because our noise is very, very low. Our noise can be less than 40 dB. So that means if you open the air compressor, actually the patient and doctor cannot hear any noise, so it won't disturb the patient sleeping or resting. And also on the back side of the air compressor, we can see there are 2 parts. So we have a concern here. One part we will connecting the pipeline with the main pipeline here to supply for the medical air. And also we have another one to connect with the central air supply. So that means if your hospital has the central air supply, then we can connect it for 2 pipelines. Then it will automatically testing if the central air supply is failure. If it's failure, then our compressor will automatically starting. And also if the central air supply is recover, then our air compressor will be stopped. And then let's check the top side here. For this machine, the power range is from 100 to 240 volts, and the frequency is 50 or 60 hertz. Because why we have such a wide range of the voltage range? Because in many of the hospitals, we know the power and sometimes is very unstable. So if we have a very wide range for the power, then it can be used very stable anytime, anywhere. And this is the fuse. It's for ensure the machine to be used all the time very okay. And here is the air and oxygen port. And then for the design of the machine inside of the main engine, if we open the cover, we will see the electric pipe and also the gas pipe is separate. That means it's a separate design for the electric pipeline and gas pipeline. So then it will be very easy. If the machine has any problem, we will know where is the problem. And also the line consumption will be very steady. So it can ensure the machine to be used for a long time. At least for this machine, we can use for over 80 years to 10 years. Thank you.
你这英语太牛逼了。
做外贸的不懂英语就烦了。